1, 2. Hey, how we doing? Thanks for coming back. We're collectively getting ourselves together, having little weird issues tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about the Asteroid Effect with all the things that are hitting the market microphone-wise, interface-wise, our legacy mic giants facing extinction while newcomers shape or flood the market, or the future of sound. So that's what we're talking about, right? Hello.
So, is it the world of Boya? Are these the future of microphones?
I can't go with that, but so I don't know. This is just something we've been talking about a lot. Me and Joe have been talking about different stuff back and forth. It's just there's so much out there that is getting better. Like, to me, I mean, for this type of stuff, obviously not for, professional or whatever you want to call it, but for podcasting and doing things like this, I don't know. What do you guys think? Either one can go.
I'm just digging the music.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Phil.
It's good music. So you and I and Kevin kind of touched on this when I did a guest on your Get Off My Lawn, I think it was. I don't remember. About what the only thing that brands like Fafine and Mayano and they are missing is the time in market to prove that they're reliable. And
yeah,
I kind of agree with that, except I don't. But we also touched on the fact that they're not targeting the mid and high end market.
No,
they're all in, as are most of these Chinese brands on the entry level market, because that's where the bucks are at right now. Like many consumer electronics.
Yeah. Well, Joe said it when he was saying that they don't. The guys that are doing the professional equipment aren't buying gear because they already have their gear,
and it lasts forever.
It's exactly what I said. We were talking about this just briefly, trying to get ready for today. I was driving, and Clay called me when I was in the car, and the first thing I want to tell everyone is I'm not an economist, but I've been sitting back watching this for a long time, and everything that's happened in the market over the last decade has not really affected broadcasters at all, because they haven't changed anything that they've done. So the growth seems like the growth has come mostly from the people who have tried to jump in and serve the podcast market. So if you look at someone like Electro Voice, they have done so little, in terms of the podcast market. They've got the 320, which is the cheapest one of that group, the 20, the 20 RE20, RE27 ND, and then the RE320, which this is what I'm using today, is the 320. And they've made this, and then they also are now offering a black version of the RE20, because the quote unquote fawn beige is so damn ugly, and I have them that go from gray to military green. But it's interesting because I think it was maybe the first edition or the second edition of Audio for Media by Stanley Alton, it says right in their literature, this is not to be used on camera. That was never intended to be used on camera. So Electro Voice has been doing almost nothing. But on the other hand, it's a subsidiary of Bosch, and the company is enormous. And the other part of their company is loudspeakers and installations. So they do huge installations in malls and stores, in sporting event arenas with speakers just for sports, in theaters for theater. So they've got PA, and then they got sound reinforcement, and they're doing a lot of other things. And microphones just seems to be a small part of what they do. If you're just in the mic space, you might not know anything about them. And they're part of a much bigger conglomerate. Shure is, up until a few years ago, is still run by Mrs. Rose Shure before she died in 2016. And I think it's a much smaller, more agile company that can say, oh, let's do that. without having a big corporate structure to push things through. It's, again, I'm not an economist, but it seems like there's a real big difference in what certain companies are able to do. And if you're just starting a company or putting into a group of investors, and which I'm assuming some of these Chinese companies are, and other companies are that have never heard of, they're just going to say, "Oh, let's do this." I mean, TechZone Audio is a relatively a newcomer.
Yeah.
And they're great. Anyway, that's some of the research I've been doing since we started talking about this. Is just sort of fascinating.
It's a good point.
So, hi, King Paco. Thanks for saying hi. How you doing? Good. Glad you're here.
Hi,
And,
everyone. Live stream consultants.
Yeah, Pigtown Sports is here. Good evening. You have a very good point. So, I mean, this. Let me get my thoughts together here. I guess in my mind, the question is, if a company like, I don't want to pick on any one company, but if a Chinese company X decides they're going to take on Shure Pro, they're going to take on Sony Pro Audio microphones. They're going to produce, because you look at companies, a lot of these companies, I mean, Fafine, Mayano, and Bifaley, they're the whole. I mean, you follow the company back and you end up at a manufacturer, right? And that manufacturer makes microphones and many other things, but they make microphones. And so it's natural to say, hey, let's have a brand. Let's sell some things under our own label. That way we get the production money and we get the sale money, the retail sale money. So they can decide that they want to take on more established brands. But Joe, you're right. There's got to be a demand for it, and there's not. And certainly, if a radio station has gone all electro voice and one breaks, they're not going to drop in a Sony, much less a Chinese manufacturer X.
Yeah,
they're going to want another of what they've standardized on.
Yeah, with the exception of a DJ, a certain DJ might want a certain mic because they grew up with it or something. I've got I worked very closely with a couple of guys from NPR, and one of them, his favorite mic was an RE20. Sounded amazing with it. Did lots of voiceover work, RE20 for everything. And then another award-winning journalist, Mike Simonson, he used the Sennheiser 421. That was his go-to. Most widely used on toms and other things. And a lot of young folks have no idea what that is, but it used to be a studio standard. So it does vary, but yeah, they're not looking at any of the new stuff probably.
But for the sake of the thought exercise of are these established brands eventually going to go the way of the dinosaur? I mean, obviously we don't know, but if you look at other consumer electronics, I mean, I've been in the industry, Joe, you've been in the industry long enough I remember when I was selling Sony. I'm going to pick Sony because that's where I worked for a long time. But I remember being at retail and selling Sony, and I know why I sold it. And it wasn't because it paid me the most. But it was, at the time, you looked at television, the best. And when I went, beyond retail, I went to work for a company. That's where I went. I loved it. I knew it. I was excited. They had an opportunity. But I remember when, at the time, it was the Korean brands like Samsung and LG suddenly decided they wanted to play in our space. And I remember inside the company, people talking about, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. It's crap. Their stuff is crap. And guess what? I remember turning and saying, you better watch it. These guys have lots of money and lots of desire. And, we can't afford to get complacent. And that's exactly what happened is everything got complacent, margins got tightening, they got rid of R&D. Anyway, so, and now who's the number one? Well, when I left anyway, the number one television manufacturer bounces back and forth between LG and Samsung. And,
Yeah.
they're laughing all the way to the bank. But now those guys are being challenged by Chinese brands like TCL and HTC and Hisense.
Yep.
Yeah. And so there's, you extrapolate and just apply it to the microphone market, I think it's longer because one, there's just not that many of them and they don't change as often. And to your point, Joe, the pro market is very different. But I still think they could if especially with the fact that I think one of the things that is a different mindset, and some companies are adopting this, but you look at these Chinese manufacturers and they're introducing new product every year minimum, right? And that doesn't happen still on the established brands.
Well,
You got
I've
Shure.
I've got a not a theory, like an outlook on that, and I want to throw it in before I lose it.
Hmm?
So, as a small YouTuber content creator, I am still with these live streams that everybody's watching right now. I'm changing it up all the time because I haven't quite found my groove and found like what graphics I like, what setup do I like. So being new at it, I'm always trying something new. And guys that have been doing it for a long time aren't doing that. They're doing the same thing that they've been doing for a while that they know works. And I'm just kind of wondering if that kind of plays into these companies that are newer versus companies that are older. Are the newer companies trying all this new stuff because they have the flexibility? They haven't established a staple yet. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, too, the users are changing. The guys working at the radio stations and the television stations and everywhere that uses the pro equipment, the ones that are making the purchase decisions, the younger ones coming in are folks that had no problem shifting to a quote unquote no name brand, or their first experience was not with technology that was kind of deemed their dad's, right? I mean, that's a label that Sony gets all the time, which is, oh, that's your dad's brand, right? Or in this case now your granddad's brand.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain amount of, well, you go with what you know. And if when you grew up, you had a Samsung phone, you had a Samsung TV, you had a Samsung music player, whatever, those tendencies to, or those desires to like those brands, that follows you. You can't help it but be influenced by what
I grew up
you
with
experienced throughout your life.
Ford trucks in the driveway, and I have a Ford truck in my driveway. I just grew up with it.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's just. Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
I don't know. It's strange because I think that the pro market is so much smaller. I mean, I'm talking about like broadcasting. The broadcasting market is so much smaller than what we see in podcasting, right? The number of radio stations we have versus the number of people who are doing podcasts is completely lopsided. I'm just shocked and amazed and sort of bewildered by the fact that none of these companies like Fine have actually opened up, or not that I know of, maybe they have and I just don't know, but have actually opened up a U.S. marketing firm that's creating content, because it seems like the only press I ever see any of them get is from creators, which tends to be all over the place and pretty interesting. But I don't see any marketing or by Faley, where it's like, oh my God, there's this microphone and it's better than anyone expects for its price. And it was $43 last week and now it's $80, but that's still a pretty good price for this, a C414, or whatever. I don't know. It's just interesting that the market seems to be so wide open and people are grasping at information, and none of them have taken a lead. I mean, maybe,
Mm.
I don't know. Again, I don't spend my days doing research on how many YouTube videos have been made on such and such and such, and I think it would be probably hard to get some of the. I know Bark has done it before, and Bark from Obscure Mics and some other people have done it, where they'll go on and look at, they'll type in microphones, and it was like most sold this month, and they'll go through and that's good, that was a mistake. People are still buying that, really? No, and they'll just go through it. I've never done that. That's not my thing, but it would be fascinating to find out who's buying what, just to
I
figure
think
out what these numbers are really like and why.
Well, didn't Bark? You're right. Bark did one recently, and I think it was for Fine, right? They were like the number one microphone purchase. And I have to apologize. I immediately went Pro. I was talking about Pro, but actually, the question that was posed was just established brands. And so when you back that down to do brands like Shure and Sennheiser, AKG. Not even high-end brands, just market, leaders. Do they need to worry about these new brands coming out of China? And when I frame it in that way, in my head, I'm like, hell yeah, because they're already taking significant market share away from them. And I think it's forcing a change. I mean, look at Shure. I said that Shure is introducing new models on a more regular basis. I don't think they're yearly yet, but they introduced a whole spate of models over the last 3-4 years.
The MV7, the MV7 Plus. I thought it was interesting. I'm just trying to add to what you're saying, not subtract from it.
Mhm.
I thought it was amazing how when I sit back and watch what people say about what's going on with the industry or new mics, that they only think about their own circumstance.
It's freezing.
I'm freezing?
Sorry, guys. No, everything froze for just a second. This is exactly what happened last week.
Yeah,
but we're still all talking, so.
Okay. So when the SM7DB came out, and most of the podcasters I heard talking about it said, too little, too late, too little, too late. It's like, it's not made for you. It's made for the people who haven't bought one yet. Right? There's every year there's going to be thousands of people who start podcasting because they have something to say, or start covering sports, or start doing something, whether they want to build it into a business or do it as a hobby. I think that's the interesting thing is this idea of looking towards the future for your products. Where are these things not going to be today, but where are they going to be in a year or 2 years from now?
And what separates these brands? I'm sorry, I keep going to Fine and Mayano because that's the only ones that come to my head. But there's X-Tech, there's plenty of others. But I remember being on which forum? I'm on so many of these forums. I was on one of the microphone forums, and I was asking about boards, PCBs for build your own, and getting a thread going for different boards. And the established guys there were like, oh, that's a terrible board. Oh, those welds are terrible. Oh, they clearly didn't clean it off. And I'm not saying they're not right, but that kind of stuff, sloppy manufacturer or not paying to have the boards cleaned off, is just a side effect of the fact that they know they're going to come out with a new mic next year.
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as the pro in me wants to hate this microphone, the AM8, I cannot deny that while it is no SM7B, it's new. It sells for $55. It's got USB-C. It's got XLR. It's got a plastic body. it's got RGB lights. But when it comes to just straight sound, it's not bad. It's not a SM7B.
No.
It's not a Dynacaster.
It's not what you were thinking you were going to get for $55.
Yeah, but I can't honestly recommend. I mean, is there a name brand microphone? Not name brand, excuse me. A traditional brand microphone that you can get for $55 that has all of this on it? I don't think so.
I don't believe so. No, I mean,
maybe the sound, but not the controls.
Yeah.
I mean, I can find XLR mics from Shure that the PG 58, 57, the 41, the SM41, 41, 47. I can't. The numbers are escaping me right now. Because my brain is Swiss cheese and I'm old. But there are less expensive mics, to be sure. There's, the Behringer. Behringer makes a whole line that they're practically almost all $13. Now.
The XM8500.
I got their version of the SM58, the 8500. I got their version of the SM57. I got one of their drum mics. I got one of their versions of the Beta, and they were all $13.90 change.
Yeah, $13.90. I have the,
and I don't know if they've gone up.
And it sounds pretty good to me. I mean,
it's crazy. Well, it sounds. I honestly think it sounds better than this. I mean, I can make this distort when I talk too loud or I get too close.
Yeah.
But. And I can't do it with those. However, they're straight XLR and they require an interface. So as much as I want to say to people, like we talked about last week, no, get an interface. No, get an XLR microphone. Yeah. The fact is that there isn't a combination that comes in at this price. Not that isn't made by one of these companies.
Right.
Right.
So just by the rate of innovation, of introduction, the amount of features and price, I mean, I can already tell you that quality does not matter to most consumers. They say it will. You give them a poll, and I have direct experience of this because I've paid out of my budget for focus groups, for man on the street polls, for emailed and sent on more products than I can count, asking questions, and people always give you the answer that you want to hear, that you would say as an expert. But when you look at how they're buying, what they're buying, that's BS.
Yeah.
So most people say they care about quality, but maybe it's just they don't know. That's what it is. They don't know what quality is or what the experts think of as quality, right? I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just we're not aligned, and you can I think fairly extrapolate that based on their purchase decisions. So, but the nature of the fact that Fine is the number one selling microphone on Amazon.com, the largest retailer in the United States, in North America, in most of the world, I would say that the asteroid has already hit. And what hasn't happened is the giant gassy hot cloud that's going to wipe everything out hasn't made it. But am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong, please.
No, I think you're probably right. The only question is the Fines of the world and the Monos from the world, they're what's it called? They're the introductory drug of choice before they start moving into more expensive gear. I was just going to say, right? Start moving up. Is that just their way in, and then are they going to continue to go into the legacy brands? I've known people that have always wanted to buy a Telefunken or a Neumann or something, and eventually they probably will. I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out.
Livestream Consultants very correctly says Audio Technica USB XLR handheld. I guess he's talking about the, what is it? Is it still the 2100X?
I'm not sure. I think last time we were on, I talked about that Radio Shack and how it might be made by Audio Technica. I'm not sure. I've never ripped it apart and looked at the board. And I can't remember which Audio Technicas were so popular a few years ago, but there were a variety of them that were really good.
They're definitely a legacy company, right?
Oh yeah,
because that's all I don't have anything that's Audio Technica, but
Livestream Consultants. Which one are you talking about? Which Audio Technica are you talking about?
Yeah.
Here,
okay.
Right on the screen. He said, they're the only. Oh, okay. He didn't say which one.
Yeah, Audio Technicas in Stowe, Ohio. CAD is in Conneaut, Ohio. Electro Voice was in Buchanan, Michigan, and they moved to Minnesota. I think they're in Illinois now. They've stayed pretty close to where they originated. But they're still mostly in the Midwest.
So Audio Technica, I typed in handheld XLR USB microphone, and I got a AT2005 USB.
That's what he's got. That's what he said. He's thinking of the same one.
Yep.
AT
That's what he put in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a combo, right?
Yeah.
So, did he say what it's selling for? I can't see a price in there.
No, I can look it up if you want. I mean,
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
I got it. 40. Oh, that's eBay. 7110. So it's a little more expensive. That's Sweetwater. Let's see what it's selling for on Amazon, or is it selling on Amazon? Yes, it's selling on Amazon.
That's a round number.
$79. Yeah,
that's a round number for what you're getting for the name and that.
I'm not making an argument that you're incorrect, and I would think that that this Audio Technica microphone should be a better quality microphone. But in the world of sub $100 mics, is a $25 delta important? I think it is. I don't know that somebody who's looking at the AM8 at $55, I think is what it's going for.
Yeah,
is going to be okay with going 65, 75, going, basically $24.99 more. That's
AM8 we said,
all right? Yeah. 50% more, am I?
Yeah, $54.99. And it says list price $64.99, but it's I'm always seeing it right around 50, 55.
And that's the AM8?
AM8, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had one of those, haven't you, Clay?
Yeah, I have a couple.
That's what I thought. They sound good.
Yeah. I don't use them that much. I don't like the lunchbox look, but they do sound good. They sound really, and they sound good when you just. I did a video and I used it in conjunction with my phone. No computer, no nothing. Plugged it right into my phone and it sounded awesome.
I used it as a guitar mic the other night, acoustic guitar on the neck, on like the.
How did that sound? Did you test it with other mics? Because I would think that it would make a guitar sound a little muddy.
Actually, it didn't sound bad. I wouldn't like. I wouldn't mic with it at a gig,
Yeah.
but I expected it to sound like ass, and it didn't.
No.
And since Joe turned me on to the rubber washer solution,
now you're fixed.
It's not floppy. So, what's surprising about this microphone? What was shocking is you take it off of the yoke. The yoke is where more than half the weight is.
Oh yeah.
This sucker is so light. It's like
I think
I expected it to float out of my hand.
It sounds silly, but if they made it a metal mic, it would probably make it that much more attractive. People would be like, "Oh," because like
then it would be $79. So the cost
profile.
of
This is a square mic, and it's heavy. I mean, probably not as heavy as some other mics, but it's impressively heavy, and it just makes you
what
think,
is that?
oh, this is a really nice mic. The
What does that go for?
profile goes for, hang
Let's
on.
see. Well, I got it. I do.
Oh, well, whichever.
Here, it is $67. Lists for $75. Yeah,
But
but
the
that's
profile,
a straight USB, right?
Strictly
That's not
USB.
USB XLR.
Can I say it's worth that for just having only the ability for USB? No, not to me.
Well, the thing is, if you're sitting at your desk creating a podcast, a good quality USB, we've talked about this before,
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
quality USB can get you by.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I mean, it's got the ability to it's got a headphone jack, so you're listening to, and it's latency free. It sounds great. It's just, I don't know about the price point for not having, as far as cheap mics go, not having the other option of an XLR is,
So, how many years do companies like Shure and Audio Technica have? How soon do I need to sell my stock?
Look, like he said, for all the podcasters and YouTubers and like people doing even just audio podcasts, you don't need to worry about it, because I think those companies are still going to be a need, because a good carpenter doesn't go to Walmart and buy his tools. He goes somewhere else and buys DeWalt or Milwaukee or.
But I kind of want to get a bet going. So if I'm alive when this happens, I can say,
Told you so.
I was wrong. I was right.
You're right.
I think it all comes down to their desire to play in that realm. Kevin made the point, I think, in the chat on last week's show, where he was talking about how the price of those brands are going up. And I think my comment was a little flippant, but I still believe it was correct, which is, well, everything has gone up in price. I don't know that that's a targeted approach, other than an incremental increase in price, trying to, recover some of the tariff costs and things like that. Just the cost of doing business.
Which
But
I think that's
let's say Fifine, the marketing team in China, is listening, and they're going, that Phil guy, that Joe guy, that Clay guy, they got a point. Why don't we come out with a mic that competes with, really competes
mic, yeah, $500
with,
mic,
no, not even that. How about a $200, $300 mic, like something that competes with the Beta 87, or Sennheiser, was it 941, or
yes, I think,
or an AKG P200. Is that still a current microphone? Do they still make that one? I don't
Joe?
think so.
What was that? I'm sorry.
AKG, what was it? What'd you say?
P200 series, P2, what is it, 220, 240 now? I don't remember.
The P120s changed. They're the P series now. I think they're all still available. I haven't been to their website in a while, but I believe so. The black ones.
But I mean, so if Mayano or Fine, okay, Fine. If you want people to call you Fine, you need to spell your company's name Fine. Otherwise, just get used to the fact that people are going to call it Fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I had to get that out. That's like if I were working at Sony and I said, no, it's pronounced Suni.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Is it American language? Because that's
well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. I mean, it would be interesting to. I got some things I'll read off here, and I'll probably see if I can create a document and send it to Clay, and then he can drop it into the show notes. But AKG was bought, and then they were just going to make the mics they were going to make, and they were going to get rid of all their R&D staff and then Lewitt was born, and Austrian Audio was born. And I think that those two companies are doing great, even though they're the offshoots of the AKG engineers, but in a very different market, right? In a very different vertical.
Yeah.
Recording studios and stuff like that. So I think that it is interesting. There's huge growth in podcasting, and still probably consistent growth in other parts of the industry. Just some data I pulled together here earlier. Like I said, I'll give it to Clay and he can post it. Retail bestseller snapshots. Let me see. Got some notes. It says, got to get back to the top of the page. Short summary, public data, SM7B, SM57, SM58 family appear to be top selling. USB hybrids, USB XLR, Blue Yeti still, Shure SM7, SM7 Plus, Samsung Q9U, Rode Pod mic for XLR users, value for mainstream dynamics, SM57, 58, Rode Audio Technica AT series, Blue Yeti still. And then I've got a couple of the things here. There's some places to look. Top models repeatedly show up in public searches: SM7B, SM57, 58, Blue Yeti, Logitech for creators, SM7, SMV7, Shure MV7, MV7 Plus, Samsung Q9U, Rode Pod mic, NT1, Audio Technica AT series. And then places to look. Retail bestseller snapshots, Amazon Sweetwater Guitar Center, Thomann, they all have those kinds of things. Yearly best-selling reports on Reverb, market research, markets, Grandview Research, Data Bridge, and then stock, things in stock. But not all of these companies are traded publicly on stock exchange, so that doesn't tell us anything about their valuation. So anyway, there's lots of different ways to try to pull some of this stuff together. To your point, what is this new market doing to the legacy brands? It's hard to tell. It's got to be making an impact. Although it's a new market, right? I mean, what would happen if all of a sudden you were selling X? I don't even know what it is. You sold donuts, right? And then you decided to start making donuts with different ingredients, and it became more popular than it's ever been, and a bunch of new donut shops opened up. Well, does the new donut shops open up, are they eroding the old donut shops sales, or are they just serving the new market? And again, I'm not an economist, but it's an interesting question, I think.
Yeah.
Well, if those donuts were consumer electronics and the old shops were Sony, I can tell you for sure they're eroding, because the problem is that your customer's aging out, and you got to
people are watching YouTube and they can't watch YouTube, ABC, NBC, and CBS at the same time, right? So it's either or. Yeah, I think eventually something's going to happen. Who knows what?
Are the cheaper brand companies going to start bringing their quality and prices up, or are the legacy brands going to start going, well, we need to come out with lines of similar products at a lower price, more people will buy?
And Shure has, right? Shure has done that.
Sub 200 or sub. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of mics that are kind of like the SM7B, but cheaper. But a lot of people still want the SM7B. So Shure has seemed to embrace some of that in a way that I haven't seen Electro Voice do that. And some of the other legacy mics. CAD certainly has. CAD has put out a whole bunch of different mics that I think are attractive to podcasters and musicians.
Yeah, but CAD's not producing most of those mics anymore. Aren't they owned by the same company that owns Focus right now? I mean, they're not the same CAD. No, they are. They're definitely owned by the same company. Because I was on I was on Focusrite when Clay, when I was telling you to call Focusrite about your Vocaster after
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing, I went online to look, and you go to the corporate head page, and CAD Audio is one of the brands. And I bought that CAD M179 used, and I called them to see if they would repair it, and it's out of warranty. And their answer was, no, we don't. But if we did, it would cost you $75 an hour. And that's when I was like, oh,
Well,
they're
that's-
not CAD anymore. I mean, they're CAD, but they're part of a bigger company.
Somebody else. Yeah.
And
That's
like everybody else, like AKG became part of Harman, which is owned by Samsung.
Who did Lenovo buy? Lenovo bought Motorola.
Lenovo bought IBM. Yeah,
But
they bought
and
Motorola too.
They own Motorola. So like when they started coming out with was a few years ago, they came out with a new Razor, and it was like made by Lenovo.
Yeah. I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was in video production, when I did that for a living, the shop I did most of my work for, my primary client, Alfred Media, and, still there. Great company. If you have a trade show you need to do, call the guys at Alfred. They know what they're doing. But Motorola's headquarters was right down the street. Not anymore. Not anymore. So here, and also I'm trying to think of how I could say this. If I were Fafine or Mayono, and I wanted to really upset the apple cart, I wouldn't bother spending a lot of money on R&D and changing the way I produce it. The first thing I would do, and this is straight out of the playbook of another company that ended up burying my company, is I would go to the largest, well, in this case, I'd go to Joe Rogan, and I'd say, hey, we have all this extra money. And the answer is, why they have all this extra money? Well, because they're a big manufacturer, because they pay influencers to do all their advertising for them. So their average A&P budget's very small. They save all that money. And I would spend it with Joe Rogan and say, hey, we've got this beautifully designed microphone that, between you and me, has all the exact same internals of, like, I don't know, a Tank. Was it the new one, the Tank 3 or something like that?
6.
But Tank 6.
Oh.
Yeah, the Tank 6, yeah. But it's in this really killer shell, right? Isn't it cool? It's very professional. You can feed them a line of BS like we all did in marketing, or I used to do in marketing, which is, well, it's shaped this way because it's aerodynamic and it takes the wind from your mouth and it makes it go past. Whatever the story is. Spend them a good story. Pay them a lot of money. Him and the other top influencers out there, and suddenly the desire to own something other than an SM7B will shift, regardless if it's the exact same internals. I know that because I lived that. I lived that when my biggest account for a product line, I'm not going to name it, I don't want to get people pissed at me, but a certain type of product, my number one competitor went to the largest retailer in this country and started paying them all kinds of promo dollars, to the point that they were selling 10-to-1 of their inferior product because it paid more on the floor, it paid more at the corporate level, so it had more margin, it had all these promo dollars attached to it, and they pretty much killed us in what was the largest retail chain in North America.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah, no, you're Joe, say it.
I was just going to say perception is reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of work for the car companies, and, the idea of having people think that your automobile is a quality product is more important than it being a quality product. It's all about quality is job one, or quality, that was a big deal, really big deal. Is a big deal.
So if I were working for fine, hire me. No, that's, and you wanted to expand your market share and just take more. Yeah. Yeah. And if Joe Rogan won't do it, then okay, there are plenty of others that are real influencers by what they do. And just build a really pretty microphone. Because let's be honest, this is the number one thing, right? How it looks. There's a reason that the King Bee 2 and other microphones like it, as though they're interesting designs, they don't have mass appeal because they're interesting designs. They're Cybertrucks. They're not going to appeal to the masses, but they will appeal.
Not on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But we use one to cut promos all the time, every day.
Yeah, it sounds great. They're great microphones, and they have a great history. But yeah, so that's what I would do. I would, if they really want to, take a chunk out of somebody like Shure, that's the way they're going to do it first, and then they can slowly. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say before Shure, it was the big push for having your microphone on camera came from Mike and Mike, ESPN. Remember that?
Oh.
That's when that's the whole. I got to do a video about this because that's what started the whole microphones on camera thing. Is when what was the name of the show? The ESPN show with Mike and Mike.
Sports Center.
Sports.
No. Not Sports Center. That was more than two hosts. I don't know.
Right. But the idea was it was a radio show that they decided to throw on cable because when they started the network, they didn't have enough content. So they drugged these radio guys in and they brought their their Electro Voice mics with them. And they were the first ones that sort of got these big ugly mics on camera. And then Joe Rogan started that whole thing. It just says Mike and Mike. There's got to be, I know there's a better name for that. Anyway, you know what I mean. Started off in 2000, and they're the guys that really started the whole thing off with having broadcast mics sitting in front of them. Aside from, in a movie or in a TV show or something like that, but a non-narrative, non-fiction show. It was those guys.
Back when people talked like this when they were on the radio.
Yeah.
And on television.
You noticed that? Why?
My name is Phil Boyle, and I'm here to tell you the whole truth.
Anybody, anywhere, if they impersonate something being played or being said by a DJ on the radio, they always do that. You know what I mean? Or the guy that announces the boxing or the wrestling thing on Sunday, or the monster truck rally on Sunday.
Monster trucks still do it, and of course boxing still does it, and UFC still does it.
Yeah.
But radio doesn't do it unless you're unless you're trying to make a meme.
No.
Isn't it sad to say that WKRP in Cincinnati probably did the most justice to what a radio DJ really sounded like?
Yeah.
Nobody in the audience is like, what the hell is WKRP in Cincinnati?
What's
What's that old man talking about?
Through my head, the song, like the song part of it, like when they showed the WKRP.
It's WKRP in Cincinnati.
That's what comes into my head. I don't remember what they sounded like.
I think the guy, the DJ who played Venus Flytrap, I think he's dead. Didn't Howard Hessman just die recently?
I believe so.
Rest in peace.
I still have one of those guys here. On the air. He was a Venus Flytrap type guy who worked in the Cleveland market, and now he volunteers here at the station. And he's a trip. He knows a lot about music, and his show is a lot of fun. But he's a trip. Really cool guy. The Rick O'Banion Experience. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Howard Stern's going to be gone soon. He's at some point he's going to get tired of dealing with it. He's going to retire.
That's going to be weird.
How much money does a guy need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he enjoys doing it and doesn't know what else to do with his night or day.
Here's a prediction. Howard's going to start
knows.
Broadcasting from his house. That'll be the next step. That'll be the next negotiation. He won't have to come in the studio. He'll do it all remotely.
Why wouldn't he? Unless he
Yeah.
just wants to get out of the house.
That nostalgic
dri-
feeling of doing the show in the studio, having all the
Yeah.
characters in there and goofing off, and he doesn't want that at his house.
He doesn't
Doesn't
do that
Rogan do
anymore,
that?
though.
But Rogan
Yeah.
has his in his house, right?
I don't
I
know.
think his studio is out back or something like that. I mean, if I were Stern, I'd take a page from the guy. What's the guy's name on Sweetwater who does all their? He's like their face.
Oh, the review guy.
White,
Yeah.
I forget his name. He's got a voice that was made for radio. And he's a handsome dude too. But yeah, he apparently, when he moves, I saw a video, he moved basically, I'm sure that's what Sweetwater is doing, and they're building him that studio space. One way or another, they're building him that studio space, whether it's, directly or, through salary. But yeah, why wouldn't he? So I guess we've laid out a roadmap of how they'll probably do it. Well, we've said, yeah, the asteroids probably hit already. The question is, when will the gaseous cloud hit?
Right.
And how they will do it, or how they could do it. There's plenty of ways they could do it, and then the question is there anything that the traditional brands can do to stop it?
That's like what I was asking before. Are the traditional brands, legacy brands, going to start producing stuff that's I know you said CAD did it, Shure's done it, but like, in my opinion, they haven't done it as much as these lower companies have, because that's what, in this space, that's what everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about all the stuff that Fine keeps coming out with, I want to say Mayono, but they kind of slowed down a little bit, seems like to me. I don't know about you guys, but
I haven't really been paying as much attention to that segment of the market as I should.
I don't think Bifaley's made anything that looks like a broadcast mic. Everything they've done looks like a music mic, correct?
Yeah.
Well,
And most of their stuff are still, I'm sorry, they're visual ripoffs of Neumann microphones. I mean, let's be honest, every microphone, 98% of microphones are internally ripoffs of a Neumann microphone of one type or another.
Yeah. And Danish Pro Audio too. One of their not DPA, Austrian Audio. One of the Bifaley's looks like one of them looks like a 414, AKG 414. One of them looks like an Austria Audio, OC818. Another one looks kind of like a TLM 102 or 103. But I don't know all of them. But yeah,
so I don't think that Bifaley is trying to be in Fine Finds or Mayono's space. I'm not sure what their thing is. I think they truly are a manufacturer that was just looking to sell more parts. Maybe their factory has hit capacity now for work, and that's why they slowed down. I remember talking to my Bifaley rep before, I forget the name of the trade show, but there was a big trade show that happened in May in China, in Beijing. And they had a booth there because she sent me a thing saying, hey, if you're going to be in China, like I'm going to be in China, come by.
Yeah, next week.
And I was like, yeah, thanks. No, I won't be there. You guys want to fly me there? Silence. But I asked her, I said, are you guys going to be introducing new product? And my impression was the answer was yes. Now, I've been to their website since then. I haven't seen anything new. So, maybe they showed something and they just decided with the current state of, the tariff market that they're not interested for a while. Because let's be honest, they can wait 4 years for the next, or now 3 years for the next administration, or for whatever the the deal to be made that drops the tariffs down, whatever. They're like people who own commercial real estate. They're in it for the long haul. Well, the Chinese in general are in it for the long haul. They've got long vision as manufacturers.
And the U.S. is not the only market. I mean, we often forget about the rest of the world. We're not the only market. I'm surprised at how many people have subscribed to my channel from Central and South America, who, when I go to their channels and visit, it's all in Spanish or Portuguese. I think it's kind of fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's other markets. There's been
I think
numerous
for
times
stuff like this,
me and Kevin were trying to get our hands on a new mic from Fine, and we were seeing it in other countries, but it wasn't here. So I mean, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, I was having this discussion with some friends of mine that work for different CE companies, a few months ago, and one of my friends on the East Coast was telling me that the average person, when you talk about the tariffs, they're like, oh, it'll pass, whatever, and they don't realize that in the world of manufacturing, you're working 3, 4, 5, 6 years out when it comes from the point of green lighting a product to ordering parts for the product to deciding where that product is gone. And the fact that so much inventory that was on a boat on the way here, and then May 2nd happened, and that product ended up getting diverted. It ended up being less expensive to offload it and put it on another ship and send it someplace else. And then they shifted all their manufacturing efforts toward other markets. Those products are not going to be back next year. There'll be products here, but in volume, no. The choices for the average consumer here in the United States have gone way down, and they're going to stay down for a while. Regardless of whether, we could negative the tariffs and actually put money back into the Chinese manufacturers' pockets, and it's still not going to recover at anything but a slow rate. It's just the nature of the business.
Got a point right
Plus,
here.
once a manufacturer can charge more for something, once they raise the price, barring catastrophic need, they never lower the price. That 10% increase across the board on shore, whether it becomes 10% cheaper or 20% cheaper, those prices are there, unless they just absolutely have no choice. So that's all profit. Sorry, Clay, I interrupted you.
It went away now. Hang on. It was just adding into what you were saying, or what you and Joe were saying a second ago. He said there may be other markets, but most of them are nowhere near as big as the U.S. market.
Yeah, but the U.S. market just got a lot smaller
at their fingertips.
Yeah. Well, one of the attractive things about the U.S. market is that typically Americans have a big disposable income.
Yeah.
That's changed.
I think it'll also really affect the used market too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I'm surprised at the number of quality AKG perception microphones that are out there on the Guitar Center webpage. So many of them. The last time I looked.
You talking about used or new?
Yeah, used.
I have to tell you, since you bring it up, I bought a CAD M179 because I really wanted a microphone with a variable polar pattern, infinitely variable. And they're the only ones that made it, made it. And I remember looking at one, almost pulling the trigger a year ago, and they've doubled in price in the used market. And most microphones have doubled in price in the used market because everything's too much more expensive. Yeah, I think it's all really, I don't want to make this a political discussion because, we had tariffs before this administration came in. They just weren't as high. But I think it's related to that. There are other factors that are involved too, but that's probably the biggest factor. And so, sales at retail have slowed down. So because people are going, well, maybe I'll buy that used mic. And then you have folks like those of us on YouTube singing the praises of classic microphones, right? I mean, if I weren't at the risk of being so, like we talked about the first time we got together, buying a fake SM58,
Yeah.
I'd be buying a used one because they hold up. If it's real, it holds up. It works. You can buy an SM58 that was built and sold in 1967 or 66. And other than the foam having fallen apart on the inside of the basket, and you can get a replacement piece of foam, that microphone is probably going to work and sound great.
Yeah, you got to be
unless it was
foam, Joe.
So yeah, I mean, I think the used market, it reacts. More people are buying, and so prices go up with demand. It's and on everything. I bought, just because I wanted to test it, an MXL 990. It's the ubiquitous MXL microphone, right?
Is that a new one or an old one?
Oh, it's an old one. And it took me a month to find somebody selling one for, I got this for $34 after shipping.
Does that have through hole or surface mount board? Do you know? Have you opened it up yet?
It's a surface mount board. It's one of the newer ones.
All right. So it's newer than 2013.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt real quick just to say that we are past an hour and we have not
and still working.
Been frozen. Yeah. That's it.
Way to go, Ecamm. Do we have any questions from the chat that you want us to?
Yeah, that's another thing too, is if anybody's watching this on a rewatch or you were watching live and you didn't get your question answered, please go back when the live posts and ask those questions. We will.
Live stream consultant says 57s and 58s are used for $60, and P2 Perception 220 is $50. I know the Perceptions series are so cheap.
I have a P400, a Perception 400, and I picked up in the used market. They've gone up, but I guess 7 months ago, I picked up, because I couldn't say no to it, for $85 a P420. And I'm going to mod it with the King Korg mod.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I think, and the thing is, I still contend that all those microphones are better than most people think, because they were compared to much better microphones when they came out. And now they're being compared to the cheaper Chinese microphones, and they're much better than those. So they weren't as good as the really expensive microphones when they came out. So they were poo-pooed. But now that they're used and they're cheaper, they're much better than what you can get typically. So
it does look like a sex toy. Yeah.
Well,
it does look like a sex toy, but
or suppository.
Which microphone?
The
any of the
perceptions are all
perception,
weird. Perception and P series
120,
microphones are all
220.
just kind of weird.
Oh, because they have that like capsule look to them.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Most microphones are phallic, but
yeah.
Yes.
If you put them in a stand, really.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even get me started about the RE series, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially with the foam on it here.
You gotta wonder. Did anybody in the marketing team look at it and go, should I say
we're gonna
something?
be putting it really close.
No, I'm not
to
going to
our
say
mouth.
anything.
It was a really long time ago, and whatever. But no, I think the perceptions are great.
$60 for SM58 makes me want to get one.
What are they based on though? The Perception 200 and 400, are they the U67?
I think they're all variations of the Shep's design. That very common design that most of those mics have.
I'm trying to remember though, when you do that, when you do the King Korg mod, I think he was saying it sounded like a U-87.
Yeah, that's what they're comparing it to when you swap the caps.
Yeah.
I've got a video that I've got to sit down and get an overhead set up for my, you said you had a 990, right? So what you've got there?
Yeah. He does.
I've got I bought a capsule from Tech Zone Audio. I'm going to put in my 990. So.
Can you not? Oh yeah, he can hear us. Okay, he's nodding. I was like, he's not moving.
No, I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry, Joe. Were you asking me if I had a 990?
Yeah, he was talking.
Yeah, that's what you just had held up, right? The 990.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's just I got too many numbers in my
990. Head. I'm going. I'm sorry, because you know what it is? Because again, I'm getting older, and I do this really weird thing. It's been like this for 15 years. Whatever the last name I said in my head, it gets applied. So if I say Clay and I'm talking to you, Joe, I will 9 times out of 10 call you Clay at least once. So you were saying 990 and I just said AKG and I'm like, AKG 990? What the did I? Oh my God. What? Yes.
MXL. Yeah.
MXL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah,
on
I've
MXLs.
got MXLs they're the ultimate mod microphone. I mean, it was the first microphone, XLR microphone that I bought, condenser.
That's true for a lot of people.
MXL.
But before the Chinese, that was true before the Chinese manufacturers flooded the market. And I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. The MXLs were a lot of people's first mic.
No, it's a fact. They did.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them.
Is MXL even MXL anymore?
Yeah.
History-wise, are they still the same company, owned by the same people?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of confusion because a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, Marshall amps." It's a different Marshall.
Marshall, yeah.
But it's a different Marshall.
Oh, it's not Marshall amps.
No, Marshall amps are an English company. Marshall Electronics with MXL microphones, who also own Mogami, are a California-based company. And they make cameras. They make high-end cameras, like for Anyway, they make a lot of other electronics, but Marshall amps and Marshall Electronics are different companies. The California-based companies where MXL microphones come from. Yeah.
And to your point a minute ago about not disparaging the Chinese, I none of us are, nor do we intend to. And there are some amazing, there's amazing product that comes out of it. Because look, for good or bad, it was the decision of most of the microphone manufacturers in the world to shift their manufacturing to China. Okay. I think every major brand produces product in China. Maybe not exclusively, but they do. That's why the whole Sheps design, the whole Sheps circuit exists, isn't it? It's because they needed something that could be mass produced easily, and not screwed up as not these new Chinese factories. They happen to be Chinese factories, but these new factories came online, and you have, people that didn't have particular experience in building these kind of products. So the first few years were a cluster, but they needed a product that they could build, a board, that was sort of foolproof. And it's still being used today. The Sheps circuit is the de facto. Slight variations, but Sheps made out really well. I'm sure they're still collecting that money.
I don't know. I don't even know. When you say that, I'm lost. Shep.
Oh, when they decided that they were going to be, I'm probably going to butcher this, so please, Joe, interrupt me. But when they decided they were going to do mass production of microphones in China, right? They needed a relatively good quality design, easy to manufacture.
That was simple
circuit. And so, I guess it was it the Germans when initially they went to Sheps and they said, make this. And they had them design it and then licensed it. And I'm sure Chefs is still making money off of it. So when you
Yeah,
buy
I
a
mean,
Chinese microphone, condenser microphone, chances are it's a variation of that board. That it's that circuit design is that board.
yeah, and the two major variations are whether they're transformer coupled on the output or they're not transformered. So like you've got the TLM 103. TLM stands for transformerless. So there's no transformer, and then some have a transformer, some of them don't. So that's, I mean, there's a lot of variations, but that's the one distinction between the two very common condenser microphone circuits, meaning externally biased 48 volt condenser microphone circuits.
And then now with the rise of the performance quality of electret microphones, you've got oh God, why is my brain? What's the circuit? Arduino is coming into my head. I've got one. I bought one off of JLI. The board that is natively, it's commonly used for electret. It's quiet. It's oh Lord. Now I'm going to have to. This is what happens when you don't exercise your mind enough, kids. It is. Let me go to microphone kits.
Clay, while he's looking that up, I've got a question. Do you go to recordinghacks.com? Have you ever been there?
No.
Great site.
Oh,
Great
you
site.
need to go there because it doesn't have every microphone, but it's got many, many, many microphones where it tells you about the circuit design, what microphones it's related to,
Recording
that kind of thing.
hacks?
Recordinghacks.com. Yeah. And their information is not always correct, but it's usually pretty close. And if you just email and say, hey, you got this wrong, they'll go ahead and usually they'll make a notation or change it, but it's full of really great information. It's one of the reasons why, sometimes I sound smarter than I am, but it's one of the places I go for research if I think I have a piece of information. It's one of the places I'll double check that and back issues of Sound on Sound magazine. I'll cross-reference a bunch of different sources just to make sure I've got my ducks in a row.
Isn't Recording Hacks owned by Microphone Parts, the guy who runs?
Yeah, it's the same guy. Yeah.
I think somebody told me they don't actively update recording hacks anymore, but it's so full of information, and the market hasn't changed dramatically.
So it's still there.
No.
It's rare that I can't find what I want. OPA Alice. It is a board. It does both. There's a hex inverter PCB. So if you want to use it with a externally charged capsule, a traditional condenser capsule, you can. But it's an incredibly quiet board. It's an incredibly well thought out, well designed, and I see it being copied more and more.
What goes into making when you just said an incredibly quiet board? What goes into that? Like how? Because I've noticed that there's like mics that have a lot of self noise, and then you've got some that like don't have any or close to none. What goes into that?
Joe, I'll let you go.
Well, there's a variety of things. One of which is the quality of the components. One of the reasons that large diaphragm condensers were actually developed is that the larger the diaphragm on the capsule, the more sensitive it is, and the quieter it tends to be. So there's a trade-off between small diaphragm condensers, which have better transients because their diaphragm has got less mass, but they tend to be a little louder. So the
louder
self noise. Yeah. Better transients, but more self noise, and more accurate, but they're more accurate. Larger diaphragms they're more sensitive, have less self noise, but they tend to be less accurate, and that's why we like them. Because I tell my students that they are complementary. They do things to the human voice that they're not as accurate, but we tend to like the inaccuracy of them.
Yeah. No,
The kind of the unkind or maybe un-PC way I explain it sometimes is I hear people, and I think I've said this on this channel before, but oftentimes people say, I like a really flat mic. I like a really flat mic. And I say, no, you don't. You do not like a flat mic. If you wanted a really flat mic, you would be using a testing microphone, because those are the flattest we can get. They're the most accurate, and nobody records with those. They don't sound as good because they're not flattering. We always wear the jeans that make our butt look nice.
Yeah.
Not the ones that are the most accurate. It's the same with microphones. Now, to that end, we do have a popular mic manufacturer who started making testing microphones, and then they've started to tailor those microphones into really wonderful microphones. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that company is? One of Mike Newman's favorite microphones?
Lawton? Oh,
no.
Earthworks?
Earthworks started off making really high quality, very, very accurate microphones. And then they branched out into making really, really wonderful microphones.
And they took that bass line and tweaked it?
Yeah.
And Joe, what do you think of USB testing microphones?
I've never used one. I would be surprised. I don't know. Has anyone made one? Do you know if anyone's made one?
Yes. Yeah. Behringer, who sells a lot of testing microphones, which blows my mind.
Who did they? One of the reasons their stuff is so cheap, we all know the reason the stuff is so cheap is because they copy designs and don't do the R&D. At least that's what I've been told. That's my opinion. Don't sue me.
That can be despicable, or that can also be seen as smart.
Right. And a lot of circuit designs are not protected by copyright.
Mm-mm.
So there we are. I just know that that's a thing. And I own some Behringer stuff, or Behringer equipment.
Sure.
Behringer and microphones.
Behringer, that's who they.
Behringer. So, but anyway, I don't know. I've never tested or heard any reports about how accurate the USB microphones might be.
I don't know that I'd feel comfortable trusting it, because for all the same reasons that we talked about USB mics a couple weeks ago. But
now, would a testing mic be good for somebody that's like really diving into processing?
Maybe.
Probably. I mean, they're usually used for checking the performance of your speakers, or looking for standing waves in your room, checking acoustics, those kinds of things. And most people use them once when they're setting up a studio, and they pack them away, and they don't see them again for another decade until they lend it to someone else if they can find it.
Or if they move.
I'm going to retract my maybe. Because now that I think about it, if you're getting into processing, you want people to pay you for mixing and stuff like that. I don't know that a test mic is the best way to learn. You want to learn with the most common microphones that people are using.
I didn't mean learning. I meant like somebody that like not me, but like somebody like myself that just wants to get in there and they want to tune it themselves. They want to go into processing and start adjusting everything and dialing everything in. Would that be good for them?
It would be good to tell you what your room is sounding like, what your room is doing. I mean, we're going to get into a whole other philosophical discussion, because
that'll be next. We just picked it.
When you're in a room, every surface so when you're hearing my voice, you're not hearing my voice. You're hearing my voice in this room, and in this room, every surface is a sound source, because the sound is bouncing off every surface.
Everything, yeah.
And if you're trying to understand how the room is changing the source, you could check the source and you could check the room. and then you would know how to tweak it.
And then you'd put it in a drawer and never touch it again.
Probably.
Right.
Until you sell it on eBay.
Because it's too much work.
Yeah. Live stream consultants, this is for you. Monoprice.
Got it.
Or Monoprice. Actually, Monoprice, I don't own, and nor have I tested a Monoprice microphone, but they talk about a brand that's probably just like Behringer. They're buying, right? But I've seen Bark test several. In fact, they had a ribbon mic.
I ordered 2 and I never got them because they ran out of stock before I got the Monoprice ribbons. I do have some Monoprice stands and they're great. So
I have Monoprice cables
for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, they have a couple of microphones that I've looked at and watched Bark's videos. He's done more Monoprice reviews for microphones than I've seen anybody do, and I always walk away going, "Wow, that sounds interesting." And for the price,
Obscure.
I mean, I have to say the Monoprice pencil condenser microphones, which are probably not anything more than the same as the newer and the other ones, but for what they offer them for, the 3 different capsules and the price under $100.
There we go.
There
we go.
Everything froze for a second.
Well, we're due,
but we're all back.
We're at 121, so we're due.
We're back. Yeah,
the gremlin has woken up.
If everybody starts disappearing except me, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
it's because I said Monoprice.
I thought it happened sooner because I said we're past an hour.
Yeah,
I've been like,
so have we come to a conclusion?
No,
I think, is it fair to say that we at least acknowledge that the core brands, or the what were we calling them, the established brands, legacy brands, are at risk?
I think they're definitely paying attention, whether or not they're going to do something about it. But I think they're paying attention.
Yeah,
and I think it depends on how diversified they are. Actually,
right. That's like what I was saying. Are they going to want it?
Yeah, I think there's a variety of things. I think that the bigger issue is what's going to happen in the industry. What's going to happen in the industry with broadcasters? What's going to happen in the industry with TV? With more people watching more YouTube and less, broadcast television,
and more radio stations.
What's happening with radio, with more people listening to streaming? I think that's the bigger question. Now, the thing is if every TV station that goes under, or every network that goes under, in all these big cities, if they are replaced with 100 or 200 or 300 YouTubers that are buying equipment, the industry may change, but the manufacturers might be just fine. It's weird because in every municipality you've got ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and probably PBS. In most large cities, you've got 5 network TV stations. Not very many. It's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. How many people are probably webcasting or broadcasting online in the Cleveland area? A bunch.
Probably way more.
Right.
All this brouhaha about Paramount Skydance making a cash bid for Warner Brothers, and now Netflix is rumored to be putting in a bid, and they're thinking that NBC Universal is going to drop one in, so that there's a potential bidding war. I'm surprised Google's a publicly traded company, so I'm surprised somebody hasn't at least made a grab for YouTube. It's the largest content distribution platform in the world.
Maybe they have.
I think it's the other way around. I think YouTube is buying up the rights to Thursday Night Football, and then they've got the rights to this, and then they've got their. I mean, not
Well, how
YouTube,
much-
But I mean,
Prime
as a
Video, but
How much do
as
they
as
own
as an
under
entity,
TV?
though, I mean, yes, but
Oh.
they're so that's all right. Paramount has the rights to WWE. I mean, that's going on.
Right.
The networks and the streaming platforms are making deals. That's what they should be doing, and they're filling the roles of traditional network television. But I'm just surprised that somebody hasn't said, instead of going after Warner Brothers for their, I mean, I guess they're chasing IP with Warner Brothers, intellectual property. And there's probably not a lot of intellectual property when it comes to YouTube. But still, everybody's on YouTube, either watching it or now, creating content for it.
don't they have a football ticket? So some special football thing you can get with YouTube TV? Seems
I've
like
never
I got
looked
an
into
ad.
Yeah,
Seems like
Yeah,
I got
they
an
do.
ad for that in my email.
I don't know if they're still creating content. I know with YouTube Red, they were experimenting with creating more professional content. I mean, that's where shows like Cobra Kai came from. They're not doing that anymore. I
they're-
guess they didn't
but
like the
they-
cost.
But they are a rental service. You can YouTube something and say, "Oh, but you can rent it here." So they're getting
And
into
I
that
think-
business.
And I think
they
YouTube
can-
still has their studios around the country that creators can go in and use to get a more professional look for whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I'll have to check and see if that's the case. I don't know.
I didn't-
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
So-
So
I thought that's all we were doing today.
tangent.
yes,
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
that's what we should call the show. Off on a tangent.
Yeah. I don't know what to call it. I've started calling it the digital brief. I don't know what to call it. So
I don't know. Anybody listening, what do you think we should call the show? Or do you think we should bother naming it? Do you think we're going to be doing this long enough for it?
yeah.
It says Elon would be the only one who might have enough money to purchase YouTube, according to live stream consultants.
Okay. Well,
He also
what's
says he
his
has
name?
2 Memphis Blues.
He what?
Oh, that's Monoprice. He
That's
must be
Monoprice.
right. Memphis Blues are
Yeah.
Monoprice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really cool
Larry Ellison is richer than Elon, and he's the one who owns Paramount Skydance. Ultimately, I mean, his Harlan Ellison is Harlan, or is it Larry? Larry. Sorry, his son runs Paramount Skydance, but he bought it with Dad's money. I mean, there's no doubt that
So
Larry
these,
Ellison's the
these
majority
big
holder.
companies, there's big companies out there that just have like one owner. I never would have thought, would always think
Majority owner. Majority owner.
shareholders.
I mean, yeah, there may be there may, I'm sure they still exist, but I don't think that's the case with Paramount Skydance. I think they still have a board. They have
Yeah.
shareholders they have to answer to. But he is without a doubt the majority shareholder. He's got more than anybody else. He's got enough that he can do anything he wants to do and not worry about a shareholder vote. Okay.
So we've maybe exhausted our content. Is that what that okay was for?
Oh God, no! But
Oh, all
I
right.
just don't want to bore. But I don't want to bore everybody.
I think time will tell, right? I mean, I think that's the point. I think that with AI and YouTubers, I don't know. I think a lot of it's got to do with taste and marketing, right? So few of these companies do any peer-to-peer marketing in our space anyway.
Oh, they've got guys like me and
Right.
not.
But
There's a lot more.
But I can't remember the name of the spokesman for Electro Voice. Hi, I'm the Electro Voice mic guy, and today I'm going to explain to you Variable D. I mean, he probably is the same guy that goes to all the trade shows, and I do not remember his name right now, but he does YouTube videos for Electro Voice. But other than that, they don't have any marketing to speak of.
Yeah,
That's what happened. That's what happens when you're a legacy company, right? When I was a kid, and I think it's still true, that Masterlock doesn't have any commercials except for one during the Super Bowl. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
Put it over here. I got to put it where you can see it. This is Steve Harris. Is that who?
Okay.
Is that it?
For Electro Voice? It says that they don't officially have any spokesperson.
Oh, really?
Steve Harris, in 2023, Electro Voice announced a long-term partnership and endorsed with Iron Maiden founder and bassist Steve Harris, who saves cabinets with EVM 12L Black Label speakers for his signature sound. That's it. That's all it really says. I don't know who Steve Harris is. Apparently, he's a band member.
I don't know. I think about microphone companies and like Rode. You know, they're huge. And when I think of spokespeople, it's always Ryan from Rode, who's like, I don't know, their marketing or product guy. I was a marketing product guy maybe 15 years too soon, because they only let me in front of a camera when nobody else could talk about it.
Is that the guy?
Informatively.
This is a guy that I'm thinking of, but I don't.
Let's see.
I mean, do they even do traditional ads anymore? I see internet advertisement for Shure all over the place, but I don't see Shure ads or hear Shure ads on the radio or I don't see Shure ads on YouTube when the commercials. Well,
yeah, that's not Steve.
I pay for YouTube Premium, so.
Well, not all I see on Steve Harris is long hair, wearing a tank top and wristbands, and holding a guitar. So
yeah, well, this guy's wearing an EV shirt, and it says the EV mic guy. So maybe he's a self-proclaimed. I'm Rick Belt, the global product manager of Electro Voice microphones, is what it says.
Yeah, the product manager. Yeah,
Rick Belt. Yeah.
Why pay a spokesperson when you can have somebody whose job it is to know everything about the product and promote it?
Right.
Like I said, I wish Sony had let me do that. They only let me do that at trade shows and on interviews that they couldn't get somebody pretty to go on and talk about the product.
That's the closest thing I've ever seen to a EV commercial, though. Right.
Yeah.
Would you say Rick Belt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
He is the Ryan from Rode for EV.
Rode Ryan Rode.
Yeah.
I think I know who you're
Ryan's
talking
the
about.
guy.
Rode. I don't know them like you guys do. But every now and then I see something pop up on my Facebook because I do follow Shure, Rode. I like Rode's products. I only have the one that Joe suggested, and I bought it because Joe suggested it.
Joe, because you suggested.
Oh, you have the same one now too?
You've got one too.
I got one too. It came in the other day.
Nice pop filter on yours.
Oh, it's just I took your cue. I made one, so it's a.
Oh, all right.
It's multi-layered with different foam on the inside to make it tight, and actually it pops not at all. I'm very excited.
Have you used it yet?
Yeah, I love the way my voice sounds on it. I just haven't gotten it.
I love that mic. It's so good. I use it for sound effects collecting all the time.
It's got me so excited. I
into it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Talking into it.
I want to ask you a question, Joe. I dream of getting a Sennheiser. Was it the M50? I forget the model there. They're
you're talking about the pencil condenser.
Pencil condenser,
the little like shotgun mic, right?
It's not a shotgun. No.
The MK50.
It's yeah. Is that what it was? Sennheiser MK50.
And then there's the MK. Is it MKE 416?
Yeah, it's the 50. Sennheiser MK50. Yeah, MKH50. Sorry, it's MKH50. I love the way that sounds, but it's over $1,000, and I'm like, is there not a company who has heard that and said, we just need to make a less expensive version of that? because I cannot believe there's $1,000. Actually, it's more than that. It's like $1,399 worth of parts in that thing.
It's now $1,499. It's $1,500. Yeah.
Yeah. So where's the Chinese ripoff version of that? Because you can put that thing 2 feet out of camera from your mouth and it maintains more proximity than I've ever heard from any other small condenser microphone, or really any other microphone that I've used.
Fairly far away.
And yeah, it doesn't thin out as fast as some of the other ones do.
Yeah.
But it does not have any of the problems you have with cancellation that you do with some shotguns inside some rooms. Yes. And the reason that it's so expensive is because it's used by professionals making movies and making TV. And that's why.
Because so where's the non-TV version of it?
because they can get it. Because they can get it. And professionals are using this for tools. If you're an A1 and they're hiring you and you bring your own gear, they hire you partly because of the gear you own, and that's part of the deal. And it's like, showing up. Carpenters bring their own hammers and tool belts, and and this is your hammer.
But in this case, I've heard people say, yeah, you don't need to have a $600 hammer. You can get a $100 hammer. Just don't show up at the job site with a $15 Home Depot hammer, because it probably won't last as long, and you will be judged, right? But it doesn't have to be a $600. In this case, though, the MKH50 is the equivalent of a $600 camera or hammer, but it sounds so good.
And that's the point. It is the $600 hammer or the $1,499 hammer.
I just don't believe that they can't figure. If I still worked for Sony, I would be telling the audio division, it's like, why don't you have a version of the MKH50? Go get one, ship it to the factory, figure out what they're doing, and produce it for half the price.
It's like the 416 has become a standard.
It does the same thing.
The MKH, it's a shotgun version. It's MKH 416. Has become a standard, and they were $1,000, and I think they're now 11, or maybe a little bit more with tariffs.
Everybody in this space would love to have to get this out of your face and get it out of your picture, and you can put that thing right there, and it sounds awesome. Like they sound just like this.
I'm torn. Half the time I'm like, I hate having this here, and the other half of the time is, no, I'm showing it off.
And
these are my rims.
That side of it, like I have that same thing. Like I like them. I think it's cool. It looks fun, and it is fun. But then there's also those certain types of videos or certain types of content where just having it out of the way so that you can just be you and you don't feel like you're, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sweetwater has the 416 on sale for $840 right now.
That's pretty
but
good price.
I have the problem is my space, while it's treated, it is not treated enough. And I have enough shotgun mics that I've used in here, and I've had enough experiences with getting that comb filtering artifact that I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk using a shotgun in here.
The 416, from what I've heard, is one of the better ones as far as versatility, like using it indoors and outdoors, because a lot of them remind me of the lav mics, and like the ones you were buying and testing. Those always, to me, sound better outside, and a lot of shotgun mics, that's how they are. They're better meant outdoors, propped above somebody,
Okay, I've decided I'm just going to sell my entire mic locker, and I'm going to get an MKH50, and then I'm just going to do shows about the MKH50 for the next year.
Here, if you don't, so here's what you need though. You need the if you're not going to get the Seni, you need the Sheps CMIT5 shotgun microphone, the blue one. So that's $2,800.
You're a funny guy.
I hear that's a good one too.
Yeah,
No. I'm
part right now. I was just about to pull the trigger.
no.
Where
Yeah.
is the Chinese version of the MKH50? I mean,
I
I
don't
was
know.
on AliExpress the other day, and they have a gray microphone that has no model number on it, and it's a pencil condenser, but it's the fattest pencil condenser I've ever seen. It is the equivalent of the RE20, but in a pencil condenser and without the slits. Right?
Got it.
Is
It's
that big?
standard body, and then a fat head, a little fatter head. It looks like it could hold maybe not a
Oh.
25 millimeter capsule, but like a 24 or 23 millimeter capsule. It's probably not using it because
What's
it's an
their brand?
AliExpress.
There's a cheap brand of shotgun mics. I can't spit it out.
Oh.
Something too. Their name.
Well, Rode makes a whole list of
No, this is
mics
like a
that go
cheaper
from
brand.
cheap to expensive.
I mean, Comica makes a shotgun mic, a wireless shotgun mic that has 32-bit float in it that
Yeah,
I've been
the
watching reviews
Octava.
on.
The Octava is one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Octava. Yeah, I won't buy anything Russian right now.
Don't blame you.
Nope.
No, Audio Hotline did a Octava comparison to the MKH50 and the 416 and the NTG3.
Yeah,
So
the Octava, I've heard it compared to the MKH50 as like a way second place. And the 12, I forget the model number now.
But he also compared it to the NTG3, so maybe you should go watch that one.
Okay,
Since that's the Rode, right? The Rode you just got is the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the NT3, not the G3.
NT3.
The NT3.
Oh, okay, the NT3.
Yeah.
See,
And now I want to
Joe
try
should sell
the
microphones.
M3. Who's that? What?
I said Joe should sell microphones because he told me the same thing, and I went and got one.
Well, I mean, he didn't tell me to go get it. You were so thrilled with him. I was like, I've got to have one of those. And the reality is that my AKG C1000S, which was my version of the NT3,
Yeah.
it's not worth getting fixed. AKG got back to me, and I was like, no. So,
Oh, you called the wrong guy.
What?
what do you mean? You know somebody who can fix it that it's worth versus what I could buy one used for?
I don't know. I got a guy though.
You got a guy. Well,
yeah.
Because it's the C1000S Mark IV that I've got, but it had a battery leak on it.
Oh, the black one?
An alkaline. Yeah. And it had a battery leak, and it corroded the board. And even though I cleaned off the board, I think I got all the residue off, and I cleaned it with a safe solution. It still didn't fix the problem.
Well, it's not a very expensive mic, so
No.
it might not be worth fixing. But I'm not trying to. So the guy that my mic guy, my AKG guy, I usually just send him an email and say, hey, this is what I have. What do you think? And he's been always really straight with me. And I've sent a lot of microphones to him, and sometimes he'll just go in through and clean them and send them back. His name is Richard Land. And
does he work for AKG?
He was the American engineer and rep for AKG when they still had one. It's called Land Audio Services. Okay. My name is Richard Land. I'm the former National Service Manager for AKG USA. I have 17 years of experience repairing all AKG products. And this is probably out of date because I don't think he's updated his webpage. I just call him and say, hey, can you take a look at this? Do you have the parts in stock to look at this? And he's always treated me really, really well. He's recapped some things of mine. Sometimes he'll just go through and resolder everything. He's been real fair on prices. But
what a brilliant dude! His when I typed in Land Audio Services, his URL is akgmicrepair.com.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Yeah, that's my guy. Just send him an email and
That
he'll
is
tell you what to
smart.
do. No, he's good. He's really good. He's really good.
Yeah. I will. I'll send him an email.
I mean, I bought a 4,000.
We need to have this guy on. We need to have this guy
Yeah.
on, Clay.
I bought him
I
a
bet he's-
4,000. Like when I was doing my C1000S video, I actually
They don't know who
called
I
him
am.
and asked him about the original because I had some questions before I
Mhm.
finished my video. I just wanted to double check with him about a couple things, but yeah, he's nice. But he's repaired a couple, or like I had one mic that just needed to be cleaned up. I had another mic that needed a capsule. I got a 45 AKG B 4500 BC, the broadcast condenser I haven't made a video for. And I was talking to him about it, and he said the capsule in that is actually more closely related to the AKG C3000 than it is the 4000, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, the dude knows his stuff.
Reach out to him.
Yeah.
I won't be.
But there's also the NT3, the black.
He
The
sounds
Rode
like,
has a version of the C1000S.
The M3. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
thought about getting one of those too.
So I've got one of those. But the NTG3 is better. It's just the one you just
Do you know
got
what-
is better.
Do you know what I do like about the C1000S and what I was excited about? I thought I was going to be able to fix it myself. I like the idea that you can change the polar pattern on it with that little plastic cap.
The widget.
I'm like,
with a-
yeah, what a
what?
cool little. So, all right. Well, I'm getting way off topic.
You ready?
Yeah.
I want to ask
Hey,
something
listen.
else real quick.
We're pushing 2
I
hours,
wanna-
so there's no reason why we can't say goodbye.
Yeah.
Unless you're just having fun talking. That's what we do.
Well,
I can't find. I was looking this whole time for this shotgun mic that I wanted to tell you guys about, and I can't.
Mhm.
I could have swore it was in my Amazon cart, and it's not. So just
You
know
don't
that-
remember what kind? You don't remember what kind it is, Clay?
Yeah, well, it's a shotgun mic. It's a. I don't know.
I know, but you don't remember the brand or
No, that's what I'm trying to spit out. Is
not an Audio Technica, not a
No.
Rode,
no, it had
not
the
a
name.
not a.
I think it had 2 in the name. D2.
live stream
Oh, the
consultant
Synco,
says
the Synco, the
NTG4
Synco
Plus.
D2.
Yes, and it's
What?
not great, but it's really
Synco?
good for the price. It's like $130.
The Synco.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
think
watched
Booth
a lot
Junkie.
of reviews on it.
Did you see the Booth Junkie review on that one? With he recorded.
Probably, yes.
He did the comparison to the MKH 416.
Pretty sure, yes.
So live stream consultant says I should look at an NTG4 Plus. That's a Rode shotgun mic.
Yeah. 14 millimeter.
Interesting.
I think he's the only guy watching. Him and Red Cabin Acoustics.
Well, Clay, I think
Oh.
I still have your address.
Are we really-
I'll have to get your care package. I have to get your care package out, and you can borrow some things. Did I miss anything?
No.
Well, I was going to ask you, Joe,
Oh,
what would
yeah,
happen if I
see?
took?
Okay.
I have
He's got one.
Yeah.
what?
That's what I was trying to tell you. It's a shotgun mic. It's a
Synco-
much
the Synco
much
D2.
better brand. Synco D2, right? D2, Synco D2.
Yeah. Yep. Mike D2. Yep.
That's it. Mike D2. Yep. That's just something I was looking at when I was considering not having a microphone in,
Yeah.
the view, and
Well,
it had good reviews. I mean, like I
You
said,
can-
not a fabulous mic.
you can borrow it, and you can. I could send you that and an NTG2 from Rode, and you could compare them. But I think you might just as well use your new Rode.
So I've
If you
done
just
that
got
a
it up-
couple of times, and I don't have a boom that goes high enough, but I've gotten it relatively high and just kind of pointed it downward toward me, but it was still in view, and
Mhm.
that thing sounds good. Like, and it was far away. It was a good
Yeah.
8 to 10 inches away.
So back when
That
I
was
was
a
a
good
product
question.
manager, one of the products that I was responsible for was a camcorder.
Yeah.
It was a pro camcorder that Sony decided to put a new shell on, and market it to really rich people that had more money than sense. And one of the things that justified the price in their mind was they packaged a BCM 672 shotgun mic with them. And as the product manager, you get samples. And
Right.
I still got a couple of the camcorders in the back, because when I left, you travel the country, your gear's at home, not the office. So when Sony said bye-bye and I said bye-bye to them, I had gear here. But I've got 3 of these. And I thought, well, couldn't I get rid of the risk of comb filtering just by cutting it off? There. Of course, it would turn into an omnidirectional microphone, which wouldn't be great. But if I left just a little bit on, what do you think, Joe? Is that an experiment I should do on camera?
I don't know.
I can get my power tool geek on and my microphone geek on at the same time.
I would try something else first, maybe.
Like
because when you squeeze that polar pattern down on a shotgun, you often get a little bit of a lobe on the sides and one out the back. And it's often one of the reasons why it's hard to use inside is because you get that reflection off the top into the back. So you might want to try some treatment above your head where the things what we'd be reflecting back in a cloud right above you might solve it.
Well, actually, I've got treatment up above me. It's not a cloud, but
I mean, just some kind. Have you tried it? Have you tried a shotgun in there with your treatment above?
Not since I put my ceiling treatment up.
Yeah, you might want to give it a try.
I got a box of 2-inch foam, and I instead of sticking it on the wall like most people do, I was like, I know enough to know that if you build like an 1.5 inch frame and attach it to the frame, you're going to trap some of those sound waves. Yeah. So
is that why everybody's doing those like 4-inch thick boxes behind them with like a 1-inch sheet of that concrete mesh fiberboard stuff?
Oh,
it looks like insulation, but it's made out of.
It is insulation.
Yeah.
Owens Corning. I got the studio that I was partners in when I left Sony.
Joe.
Well,
Rockwall. Is that what you said?
The material is called rock wool.
Yeah.
But different companies compress it or glue it in different. You can get it in bats. You can get it loose. You can get it blowing into your walls. But most of the people buy it in bats or compressed sheets. Yeah.
The video production studio that I was partners in when I left Sony, a buddy of mine originally built it. I helped him put it together, and he ordered a whole bunch of Owens Corning 5 something or other, and we ended up basically covering. It was a warehouse, basically. It was a warehouse, and we soundproofed the whole thing with this Owens Corning fiberglass, highly compressed fiberglass, and pulled it away from the wall. We built little gobos lots of gobos all over the place.
Now, does that help?
That place was dead
from coming in as well.
No, it was absorption because it was a warehouse, so we're talking concrete floors, concrete walls, and metal ceiling.
Yeah.
No. Fortunately, though, the nice thing about warehouses is the only place we had to worry about deadening were the metal doors. And so we just tore those out and built a wall in that space. And that was where most of the leakage comes from. So it was a great space. We had the Babies in there recording this classic rock band, the Babies. And toward the end, we were doing high speed, high quality concert streaming for bands. And before Zoom existed, right? It was sweet sounding space. But then 4K camcorders killed it.
Sounds good. Yeah.
One of the
cheap 4K camcorders.
There's Owens Corning 703. There's also referred to as Safe and Sound. because it's sound insulation. It also helps with thermal insulation, and it's
Mhm.
since it's rock wool, it won't burn. It's also hydrophobic. It does not absorb water. It sheds water, unlike some insulations that'll absorb water. So it's
So
good stuff. It's really good stuff.
I
It
seen
was
it
interesting.
was Booth Junkie actually that was making like homemade panels
Yeah.
with that. You know, but that's why Philip said something about that gap of air, like getting it away from the wall, and I was like, so
Mhm.
that's why they're doing a
Yeah.
4-inch deep box with like a 1-inch strip or a 2-inch
Mm.
strip of this stuff. Because
Yeah,
Yeah, the
good.
magic number, I've read, and maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I've read that anything more than 2 inches of a gap between the back of the foam and the surface that it's attached to, you end up you can create more problems than you're solving.
So you
As
only
far
want
as
like a
absorption
2-inch
goes.
gap.
Yeah, you want like I've heard it's like 1.5 to 2-inch gap. Now, maybe that's wrong, but that's
A
what I
2-inch
built all of these.
a 2-inch gap with a 2-inch piece, 2 inches of insulation.
I mean, for the
Yeah.
price of this insulation, I don't see myself building these boxes. That's why I didn't. I went and bought moving blankets and just threw them up and went, this is good enough for me.
Oh yeah,
If you've got
it's on the
two
floor under
layers
my
of moving
rug.
blankets, are great.
But
Yeah.
my moving blankets, the way I put them up, they're not. I didn't attach them to the wall. I hung them
Mhm.
on the wall, so they're wrinkled. They're not
Yep.
stretched out. They're nice and relaxed.
And that's what you want. You want that uneven
Yeah, I've got
surface
some
because
rippled-
that
yeah.
helps with reflections and
Yep.
and that'll actually, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, that'll also help with actually some sound blocking as well.
It'll help. It'll help.
It's quiet
it-
in here. I think my windows is my biggest problem. The windows. I hear everything, and on all my streams, if a motorcycle pulls up out front or the fire department's 2 blocks away, if they fire up their sirens, you're gonna hear it. I can't stop it unless I took all this out and completely blocked up the windows, but then I would have no air conditioner, and that ain't happening.
Yeah. When I'm working, or if I'm doing a long narration, I try to plan for the quietest part of the day, and then I will also use I won't use a gate, but I'll use expander just to try to push down the noise floor a little bit.
So you
Just,
think an expander
know.
would help with that outside noise?
Oh, sure.
I mean, if I'm using processing on here, there's an I think there's an expander on the Rodecaster, but
Right. I mean,
really
it's,
that with OBS.
it's a little tricky because most people, and a lot of people don't know the difference, but a gate will just shut
Yeah,
and then open and shut and then open. An expander doesn't completely shut. It just reduces. So instead of like having no noise, you can reduce the background noise. It opens up when you talk, and then when it closes, it doesn't close all the way. It's like having a screen door. It keeps the bugs out,
And
but it
it's-
doesn't keep
yeah.
everything out, So
And
depending-
it's not a fixed rate either, right, Joe? I mean, you can decide.
you can adjust it.
Yeah.
You can adjust the threshold, and you can adjust how much you want to push down that background noise. Yeah. Because it also helps with breaths.
Yeah. So is it better with breaths than
You can adjust it so the threshold will reduce your breaths by so many dB during the record.
But see,
What's that?
what I've always found with not so much expander, because I don't dive. I'm not that smart with the expander, but the
Compressor.
the noise gate. No, the gate. I don't like overdoing it because it sounds artificial, and I don't like that. I don't like when it. Like I've even gotten it to where it will retain every bit of my enunciation, but when I'm speaking, you can hear all the noise, and then when I'm not speaking, you hear absolutely nothing, and I'm like, nah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Did you see the live stream consultant's comment?
Yeah.
Talked about room nodes. So you can find out where the standing waves are in your room with like the MROC room calculator or some other modes. And you can make sure, a lot of people think about room nodes in terms of mixing and mastering positions. So you're listening in the most natural part of the room. Well, it's just important to find that same most natural part of the room where you're least experiencing those comb filtering effects, and you can find that spot in your room and put your microphone there and perform there. And you can also do things like instead of speaking right directly into the wall, I'm going to turn here so my voice that misses the mic goes and hits the wall there, and instead of reflecting back at me, it reflects off that wall and that wall and that wall and that way. And by the time it gets to me, it's 20 dB or 30 dB or 100 dB down, because it's gone all the way around the room and it's been broken up or absorbed by the garbage that's in the space. So there's a lot of things you can do.
So I did
just
do
maybe
something like
moving
that.
your microphone. It's also if you're in a booth, the difference between sitting in a booth and standing in the booth can be a huge difference.
Because now you're closer to the ceiling.
Because you're closer to the ceiling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's the other thing.
Whereas my position in here, and I'm not as good as you guys, but I listened, I watched a lot of videos and I paid attention, and the wall that's in front of me is not right here. It's like this. And then behind me is where the two walls come together. So
that's perfect.
Like this depth, you know what I mean?
So you're also not getting anything reflecting off that back wall directly back into you.
No, because it's all going that way.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And then, see, Clay, in a lot of ways, your space, honestly, is better than mine, because this space that I'm in right here, its primary function is my regular gig, which is projector reviews. So I've got my screens over on this wall. I've got behind the curtain here, I've got a hard screen, because I've got to do testing on a variety, and so that determines the primary use of my space. So where I'm at right now, this is where it was available. I had no choice. And literally behind me is a double, or in front of me is a double window. So I tried like hell to reduce reflection. I've got a good 12 inches of sound absorbing material there, of variety. And then on the back, it's just shells with shit on it. And because, I can only do so much on the ceiling, because again, I've got to be able to project the entire screen over here for testing purposes.
Yeah, so you need a wall.
Most of my ceiling acoustic treatment is floor acoustic treatment. It's it's blankets, and then a rug. And even that, I can only do so much, because I've still got to be able to roll my cart with my projectors, move them back and forth, and
I think
the carpet's too thick.
Do a good job. I can see you've got curtains behind you, right?
Yeah, I do. I can close them. I was
in a corner in my kitchen, and it was like the worst when I first started playing around with this stuff. And then but I wasn't in the corner. I was facing the wall. So then I changed it around and I aimed myself towards the corner of the wall.
And smart.
What I did was I took just a corner of the kitchen, because we have this weird kitchen and there's like this huge space that there's nothing there, because we have a dining room, so it's not a dining room. And I had a corner, and then I took and I hung these moving blankets behind me, and they were literally like, I could lean my head back and I would touch it. When I got up out of my chair, I was usually rubbing the curtains, but I did moving blankets and then another layer of curtains with the curtains all loose and you know what I mean? Nobody could tell I was in a kitchen. Like, there's a lot of reflective surfaces in a kitchen, refrigerators.
Yeah, it's one of the worst places to record. Yeah, so the fact that you were able to do that, that speaks volumes of your skill and knowledge. No, it does.
Yeah,
it does. Give you a lot more credit than you give yourself, I think, for what you know.
Not much at all. I know.
Well, that's okay. I'll do it for you.
You know why? Because if somebody asks me a technical question, I can't answer it like you guys can. I can't. Well, in 1977, the electric this and that. I'm like, what did he say? That's why.
Yet, if I were to ask you a technical question about what you've gone through on streaming for OBS, I mean, look, I know my limitations. I would not have the patience or discipline to sit down and go through to set up what you did to make that happen. And I know it didn't work right, but good
you,
Lord, it'll get there.
You know, we're
It'll get
actually
there.
we should probably just hang this up. We're over 2 hours.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you as soon as we hang up. I'll tell you about that.
You don't want to use up all our good luck on one day.
I know.
Right.
Well, we've already borrowed at least a half hour or 45 minutes
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. Can
Maybe
we
next time
still
I'll
talk
come-
when you
Yeah.
when
No,
you end the stream?
totally.
Okay.
Next time I do this, maybe I'll do it from the booth.
Okay. Oh
Oh,
yeah, that would
nice.
be even better.
Well, live stream consultants, thank you for sticking with us, man.
Yeah. He's a
I'm assuming man.
yeah. It's Chris. His name's Chris.
Chris. Okay. So, yeah.
He's
That's-
very. I haven't seen him put much content up because he's been busy. I think a lot with his house. He does live streams. I think he said 7 different ones for churches and stuff. And he's like this one man show that's getting everybody on camera, making their sound, and having them all live stream, and pretty impressive.
That's the market. If you're in the video production business, churches.
Yeah.
You know,
It's been
Huge
one of the growing
opportunity.
areas of broadcasting for the last couple decades.
Or for
really
being
big.
live
Yeah.
streaming at least. That's what him and Mike Newman does the same thing.
yeah.
He does it for his church. Chris, I can't remember if he does it for multiple churches or just his, but I know it's more than one stream.
One of the gentlemen who teaches video production for me here, he's also in charge of broadcasting the church, and I think he also does sound for their the band during their non-traditional service. So
Yeah. I think Mike does that.
Talk
thing.
about a difficult environment to do
Yeah.
audio in a church.
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
Like they're made for echoing.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
well, yeah, it's
You're
got
not-
it's a
You're
good
not throwing
old-fashioned
up
church with
soundproofing.
yeah.
well, no, it's a good old-fashioned church. When you're playing the pipe organ, it sounds great. When you're trying to do
Yeah.
Christian rock, it doesn't sound so great. But yeah,
Can you guys?
Jesus.
Joe's probably going to be the one to do this. What did we decide for next week? Or next? Let's not do next week. I want to do every other week. Just to, I don't know, just to ease up on the lack of time with my daughter. So.
Yep.
But what did we say we were going to do?
Well, we have 2 topics we didn't touch on.
Do we? I
from
thought it was
this
all
week's
basically
stream.
one topic.
Was it?
we can do
pretty
whatever
much.
you want.
No.
Did we touch
something
on
came
who
up.
are mics designed for now? And well, we talked about that a little bit. And flood of new audio gear, innovation or
Yeah, it was kinda-
imitation.
yeah.
Okay.
These are all your ideas. So-
I know, and it's not like they had to be mine. It's just I did a huge mind dump.
What came up? What other things came up? Clay, acoustics, or I mean, we bounced
Came
around a variety of different
Anyway,
things.
I
Do you
wanted to
remember?
say that that's what we were going to do next week, and then tell everybody good night. And I can't remember what it
Okay.
was.
All right. Well, you'll just have to post it.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
We'll have to decide by next week.
Me and
You
you are gonna
post it and say
Brainstorm it.
next week is going to be X.
Yeah. So like Joe said, next week is going to be X, and I hope you guys all come and ask questions. And again, one more time, if you asked a question and we didn't answer it, please go back and watch, or comment at least, not watch, so that we can see it and try to get to your question the next time you see us.
Or in the chat. So I'll
Or
come
in-
back and look at questions in the chat. Yeah.
The professor may be on duty. So, all right, are you guys good?
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
good.
All right,
Thank you so much.
we will see. Yeah, thank everybody. Thank you too, especially, and thank you guys for watching. So, Chris,
Thanks for doing this, Clay.
Yeah. all right,
I wouldn't be doing this if you weren't. So
yeah. And it's getting you're getting rehearsed, and you're learning. Like, I want to see some content. That's what I want to see.
I know you do. I know
You
you
have-
do, and I'm
okay.
working on it. Hey, the reason I've got
How many
this
videos?
this microphone here, I've got in the can a good hour and a half of testing that I just need to edit a little bit. So I don't want to like it. I don't, but I do.
It's okay to like it. Have you seen the High Song? This new thing, the High Song.
Uh-uh.
What's
that?
It's a cheap brand thing, but it's got a lot of like musicians talking about it, where it's like the size a little smaller than a microphone, like this, and it has latency-free earbuds, wireless earbuds that come with it that have like a compartment on the side of it, and they can literally take them out and put them on and listen to. They can do what we're doing with this little device that's battery powered, and it has onboard recording.
And it's a microphone or it's total production package.
You can remotely and on the fly record your vocals for, like, if you're a rapper, a singer.
Oh, here it is. Hisong Air Studio S1, world's first all-in-one mobile recording capsule. Built for musicians and content creators.
I am not saying that I would put a whole lot of faith into it, but it would be interesting.
It's Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. I'm gonna look at that.
And the ads that they're pumping out on Facebook and I think Instagram maybe are
$179.
really making people want to buy it, or they're making me want to buy it just to find out how it sounds. I'm sure I would never use it after that. It's not an XLR microphone or nothing like that. So
Okay. Well, we should get together with a bunch of other creators and just all throw in $20 and just
buy one, pass it around,
circle it around.
Why not? Yeah. All right. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
peace.
Peace.